So guys, welcome back in this session. We are going to answer one of the most important questions that we have. What exactly is Microsoft Entra ID? Many of you doesn't know it is an Azure Active Directory, the previous name of the same as Azure Active Directory or Azure AD, but Microsoft has now rebranded it as Entra ID. Don't worry, the formally it is the same, but the name changes is a part of Microsoft board Entra product family. So we will break it out and step by step we will try to learn what is that and how it has been done or how we can be able to use the Entra ID over there. So let's get started. So what is Microsoft Entra ID? The questions that arises, right? So Microsoft Entra ID, formerly known as Azure Active Directory, the previous name, that is a cloud-based identity and access management service or solution, you can say. In simple terms, it's the backbone that allow users to sign in and securely access resources like M365, Azure services as application, and even on-premises application also we are using the hybrid identity. Correct. Think of Entra ID as the gatekeeper that ensures that right people get the access to the right resources at the time. So that is the way we can use it for authentication, authorization, and the governance also. All the Azure services will include, for the access point of view, will include Entra ID in that. So now in many of the interview, it could be asked by the interviewer why did Microsoft renames Azure AD to Entra ID. So well, as per my perspective, Azure AD has grown for far beyond just being tried to Azure, right? Tied to Azure means it has been bound with Azure. So it's not a part for a big identity family called Microsoft Entra, which also includes features like Entra permission, management, and Entra verified IDs also. The new name alias, everything under one umbrella. So you can say like for organization, can you think about identity more historically, not just for Azure, but all access in the cloud and hybrid identity environment. So that could be the reason they have changed the name of Entra. So here we have some core functionality of our Entra ID. Entra ID has many services, but these are the basic, the core that is being used majorly by the corporate services. So majorly there are four functionalities. Okay, authentication, which verifies who a user is when they logged in, right? Authorization, which determines what the user is allowed to do. Third is identity management, which manages the life cycle of the users, groups, and roles. Another one is access controls and governance that check the applying policies like MFA, multi-factor authentication, conditional access policies, privileged identity management. So these are the pillars of Microsoft Entra ID. More than just a directories, it's a complete IAM platform that helps you to manage the security with the compliance. So now we may discuss about some of the standout features of Entra ID. That includes single sign-on SSO. That is one identity for multiple apps. You can use the single identity or user ID and password for the multiple application that you have registered in Entra ID. We will check it out how to do that. The second one is multi-factor authentication. That is adding an extra layer of security for your users, which will help you to manage your users or secure your user identities under corporate environment. Third one is conditional access policies that help us to enforce rules like location based or device based access. Fourth is B2B and B2C access that enables external users and customer to use your app securely. The last one is the last, not the but the role based access control RBAC, which grants just enough permission to that particular user to use those benefits or use those roles. The last is hybrid identity integration, syncing with your on-premise Active Directory using IntraConnect. So these features make Entra ID flexible for a small organization and enterprise. You can use those features in both of the way. So here we have a quick overview of Entra ID, how it works. In the figure first, you can see user/device that logins with Entra ID. Then it will check for the policies. It could be MFA, it could be conditional access policies, it could be RBAC. Then after it will go for an applications like M365 or any of the SaaS application or any of the on-prem application, right? And the second one, you can see the identity request which came from the application will again went to Entra ID. Then it will go for authentication and authorization under the Entra ID itself, and once it has been authenticated and authorized, then it will go for that particular access of that particular application. So in the figure one, we have tried with the users and device. The second one is for the identity request flow through Entra ID for authentication and authorization before accessing apps. So these are the two, just an overview flow that we can check how Entra ID works for authentication and authorization. So as we have checked all the services and other things, now we will see what are the benefits of using Entra ID. So the first benefit is scalability. Okay, so you does not need to manage your domain controllers and all, multiple domain controllers and all. You can manage via a single URL that is in the cloud itself. The another one is security. Microsoft Entra ID has built-in protection like identity protection and MFA to secure your identities, and they can be secure in a cloud itself also. Third one is flexibility, like it supports for both employee and external user. In the on-prem, we can't be able to have our external users, but in cloud you can be do that. Okay. The fourth one is integration, which works with thousands of SaaS apps. Like you can be able to deploy as many as application that is been needed for your Entra ID. And the last one is future proofing, like we can assign with we can include with zero trust, hybrid and multi-cloud strategies that is being needed for in our corporate environment in our company itself. So this is why Microsoft Entra ID has become the default IAM choice for modern enterprises and solutions. So Entra ID has been integrated with multiple of the services like Microsoft 365, Azure services, Exchange, SharePoint, as all those services that has been used by Azure. It could be resources, it could be Intune, device management. The access will be provided from the Entra side itself. So that is why it should be integrated with every of the application that has been used, every of the services that has been used by Azure. Second, we can install thousands of applications in our Entra ID. It could be SAML based, it could be OIDC based, it could be OAuth based. Whatever method is, we have a multiple steps from which we can be go through and install our register our application. Okay, it could be under app registration, it could be under enterprise application. We will check it out what are the difference with those. Okay, after that we have many services that can we do, like we can include our AD connect also to just sync our hybrid identity towards the cloud. That will help us to sync our on-premises users towards the cloud. So these are the services that we have, and like that the Entra ID will integrate with multiple applications to provide their services itself. So from today's lecture we can understand that Microsoft Entra ID is the newly named for Azure AD. It's a cloud-based IAM solution for authentication, authorization, and governance. It supports SSO, MFA, B2B, B2C, and hybrid scenarios. It use modern protocol for cloud-native security also that we have seen, and most importantly, it's a critical for organization adopting zero trust and cloud-first strategies. In the next module, we will just go through our lab, Entra ID lab, and see the services and the scenarios, or what can we do with what of the services or options that has been available in Entra ID. So if you like this useful, please like, share and subscribe our channel, and welcome to our next video. Thank you very much.